Hey everyone, Jeff here from DAGI. Thank you for tuning in to another tutorial. In today's video, we'll be discussing the DAGI business phone system that integrates directly with Teams. And if you're not familiar with Teams, it's a Microsoft 365 product that's available on a myriad of devices. It integrates instant messaging, video calling, conference calling, as well as meetings, including whiteboard and collaboration with your team. And now that we've added the DAGI FlexPBX phone system into it, it can now be deployed on all sorts of different devices, including Windows PCs, Apple PCs, iOS devices, as well as Androids. And you can be logged in on more than one device. So it's a great product to have for all of those businesses who have employees anywhere, everywhere and anywhere, I should say, including working from home or in multiple different locations. So stay tuned as we dive into some of the features and functionality available with Teams integrated FlexPBX phone system. Stay tuned. Once you've subscribed to the DAGI FlexPBX phone service and our technicians have implemented your services on your Microsoft 365 deployment, you can begin to use the voice services. So we're going to start by opening Microsoft Teams on my desktop here. And then I'm going to log out and log back in to ensure that the Microsoft Teams calling is now enabled. So let me just make sure I go ahead and do that. And now you should be able to see a new tab located on the left-hand side. I currently have activities, chat, calendar, calls, Teams, and files, and then a voice panel. So what I'm going to do now is click on this call panel, and from here you can now see that there are some different options available in the call menu. Speed dial, contacts, history, as well as accessing voicemails that people have left you. And below that you'll notice the dial pad. This is where you'll make outbound calls, and also it displays a direct number that you can be reached at from any outside callers. Under the speed dial group, you can see I can add additional speed dials, new groups, and parked calls. And we'll discuss parked calls just a little bit later in this video. I'm currently tracking some people inside my organization, including my CFO, Andrew, Eric, and Kyle. And I can notice from these their current status and whether or not they're available. And this will be handy later when you want to transfer calls to staff inside of your organization. Teams uses the status of your calendar as well as any manually set status to determine whether or not you're available to receive a inbound call from an outside user. And so we'll start there by displaying how to change that manually. I have it currently set to Do Not Disturb, but everything starts up here where your initials are. So we'll click this and highlight the status bar, and as you can see here, I've got some preset options available, but I can also create a custom status by setting the duration here, and I can also reset it to the status I want it to have based on my calendar. So if I hit reset status, since I've decided I was going to be recording videos, this says away or busy, but I'm going to switch it back to do not disturb for the time being. Through the menu at the top under your initials, you'll also be able to access saved chats. This is where you'll see having private chats and calls saved. You can also access your settings, which we'll go over in a little bit. Change the zoom level of your deployment or of your implementation to customize to your viewing pleasure. You can access all the different shortcut keys. You can make and change some of the shortcut keys as well. And then you can check for updates and download the mobile app and of course sign out. The other thing to note is you can set a status message stating when somebody mentions you or sends you a message. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say currently recording videos. So if anybody sends me a message, they'll get this message in response, and I'm going to set this for 1 hour and then hit done. So people will receive this until 4:09 p.m. Let's dive a little deeper into the settings option underneath your initials. From here, another slew of different settings that you can change to customize the look and feel on how you want it to look for you, including your privacy settings, how you want to be notified of things that happen, the devices that you're going to be using to make and place phone calls. I currently am using a HyperCloud X for my headset as well as my microphone for phone calls. Again, change your webcam if necessary. Permissions is usually done for all the devices as well, so you can find that. Transcripts, identify, and also add captions to your meetings. And then lastly, under calls. And this is going to be important where you're going to access your voicemail as well. So with that being said, the first thing you should do is decide on the voicemail greeting. And in order to do that, we are going to click Configure Voicemail. And here we have options to record a voicemail and then discuss how the call should be routed when calls come in. You have a bunch of different options here. You can let them record a message. You can let them then record a message and then be transferred to somebody else. You can end the call without greeting, meaning just hang up on somebody. You can also play your greeting at the end of the call and then or transfer it to somebody else entirely without even letting them leave a voicemail message. You can also transcribe a message that you've typed. So if you don't feel comfortable recording your own voice for your voicemail message, you can type it here. Note, if you do record a voicemail greeting, it will override any text that you have in the option there. And below, you can set your office or out of office greeting and when it should be played. After I've clicked record a greeting, a new menu window will open up. And from there, you can listen to the prompts to configure your voicemail greeting.
Main menu. To listen to your voice messages, press 1. To change your personal greeting, press 2. To repeat this menu, press 0. To exit, press the star key.
So once you've completed the configuration, you can simply click Leave at the top right
Main
corner.
menu. To listen to your voice message,
I suggest following the prompts, and then when you've satisfied, you can exit the recording. Now that we've set up your voicemail, let's talk about call handling. To place a call, click on the Calls panel, here again on the left-hand side. And if you're on your computer, you can place the call in one of two ways. You can either use the numbers on your keyboard to enter into that, or you can use the dialing pad with your mouse like this. Once the number that you have entered is to your satisfaction, click Enter on your keyboard or hover over the call and click Call. A couple things to note: you do not need to dial 1 in front of the number if you're calling inside North America, and you don't need to access an outside line by simply pressing 9. So any calls you make in this inside North America, simply enter the area code followed by the 7-digit number to place your call. While on a call, you can easily transfer calls to other users inside your organization, outside your organization, or even to another device that you are logged into. So I'm going to quickly dial my cell phone number here, and I'm going to blur it out for obvious reasons on the internet here. And I've since answered the call on my cell phone device. So from here, you'll notice you have a couple new options. You can leave the call. You can mute your microphone. You can access some more actions, show participants, and invite new participants, as well as access the dial pad if you're entering into a menu on the other end. So for this demonstration, what we're going to do is transfer the call, and there's a few different options for transferring. You have a blind transfer, a consultative transfer, or using the parking spots that are available. So we'll start with a blind transfer. In order to do this, you're going to click on these 3 dots here and go down to transfer. You'll have the ability to find somebody in your stored contact list like so, or you can enter in another number and transfer the call that way. Again, once you've clicked on it, you can click it, and then you have the option to transfer. And in this case, I'm going to hit cancel. and I'm going to resume the call and go back to the user. Again, let's show you a transfer one more time here. I'm going to highlight these three dots while in a call, hover over transfer. I'm going to select the contact, in this case Andrew, and then from here I can decide how I want to transfer it. I can either transfer it to his voicemail, his mobile number, his work number, or through his Teams application. And I can also choose to have it ring back to me if he doesn't answer it, or of course cancel it. So in this case I'll hit transfer, and the moment I press transfer, it will transfer the call to away from me and to his implementation. The transfer's been completed, and now then you can dismiss the call or rate the call quality and move on from there. The next option for transferring is what's called a consultative transfer, and that's where you'll be able to speak with the intended caller before transferring the call away. And you can either do that through a chat or even through a voice conversation. So in this case, we're going to transfer it consultatively. We're going to click the three dots at the top, go down to consult, then transfer. And again, I'm going to pick on Andrew and put him in the box, select his name, and then I can decide again how I want to chat. I can either chat with him through Teams, do a Teams audio call, or any other device that he may be associated with his contact. So in this case, I'm going to say chat. And that will put the caller on hold. So I'm going to hit chat, and a new window opens up, and I can ask him, Andrew, I have a call. And from here, you can see that you will be able to know when he reads it, and then we can decide if we're going to transfer it or transfer to his voicemail, again, to a mobile number or another work number he may have. But depending on what he says, you can then transfer the call or retrieve the call and deal with it yourself. Let's see what he says here. Yeah, and that's because I hung up on them the last time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit transfer, and that will now transfer away from my device to his. And that's a consultative transfer. The last option you have for transferring calls is by placing the caller in a parking spot. And this can be beneficial for transferring it to one of your other devices. Let's say you're on the way to the office and you took the call originally on your PC, but now want to transfer it to your mobile device that also has Teams installed on it. You can place them in a parking spot and retrieve it from there. Or if you're looking for an individual and not sure where they are, you can place them in a parking spot and share that parking spot with the intended user. So what you'll do again is click on the three dots while you're in a call. You'll go down to park call, and it will park it and show you a code that you can share. So my caller's on hold. I've got a code now. In this case, it's 12. And from there, I can decide how I want to implement picking up this parked call. So from here, I could go to my Teams chat and say, there's a call in parking spot 12. So and what will happen if somebody wants to retrieve that call, they would go to their calls panel, and they can either retrieve it up here if they were somebody who put them in park, or they could use this parked calls button here, enter in the code that was shared, and hit pick up. And this will reconnect us with the original caller. Again, this is very helpful if you need to move between devices or you can't locate the individual that needs to take the call. Park is a global feature for your whole entire organization, so anybody can pick up that call. If you want to simply just place somebody on hold and retrieve it on the same device you put them on hold, you would click on the three dots, scroll down to hold, hover over it, and then click hold. And of course, to resume the call, you would hover over resume and click resume, and that will reconnect you with the caller. With the DAGI FlexPBX phone service integrated directly with Microsoft Teams, it's also extremely easy to add additional users and participants to the phone call. All you'd need to do while in a phone call or meeting is click Show Participants, and from here you can invite somebody, for instance Andrew, through Teams, or I could even call a phone number that is outside my organization and connect them in to this meeting. So for here, we'll pick on Andrew again, and we're going to ask him to join this call. You can see here, it's calling him. I have a call on hold, and the moment he answers, we'll be able to
Unknown
connect him.
participant is now joining.
There we go. So now we've got Andrew conferenced in with the original caller, and of course we have the option to remove from the meeting once we've had what we needed to get from that individual. So here we go. I'm going to click on these three dots here, and then go down and hover over Remove from Meeting and click Remove from Meeting, and Andrew will then be dismissed from our meeting. Again, we can add in any sort of user, an outside caller, or even somebody inside our organization who also has a Teams implementation. And again, if we wanted to invite Andrew back, but he wasn't at his desk, we do have the option to ring all of his devices, and he can then choose how he'd like to join the meeting. So again, I'm going to go back here and kick him out. But we do have that capability. Now that we've discussed how to use some of the features and functionality on your desktop computer with the actual downloadable app, I'll now be showing you how to use those same features and functionality on your smartphone, either an Android or an iPhone, or a mobile device. Now the process will be the same for Android and for iPhones, but that being said, it may look a little bit different. So here we go, let's dive into the Android-based Teams application with the DAGI FlexPBX phone system directly integrated into it. So for the purposes of this video, I've screencasted my mobile device onto my PC so I can record it for you and give you a better view. And we're going to start in a very similar fashion. We're going to open up Teams on our mobile device. And in this case, I'm going to go to Settings. I'm going to sign out of this. And then I'm going to sign back in just to make sure my deployment is ready to go. So again, I'm going to highlight it, and it's going to sign me back in. Perfect. It may install an update, but as you can see along the bottom here, I've got a calls option. I'm going to click on that. Similar to the PC deployment, you've got your speed dials options, you've got voicemail options where you can listen and view any voicemails that somebody may have left you. Again, they get transcribed as well, which is really nice. And of course, we can see history of calls that have been made or placed. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the hamburger icon, which is the 3 stack lines at the top left there. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to go to Settings, and then again I get a list of all my settings that are capable both on your mobile device and on your PC. Just back a quick second here to the hamburger icon. You can see that below my name I can also change my status like I was previously, and I can also change some information about myself by clicking on my name. But we're going to start by setting up our voicemail in a similar fashion. Again, so we're going to go to Settings down here, and then we're going to click on Calling right in the middle. I'm going to use my mouse here so you can see. Right here you can see Calling, so I'm going to click on that here. And then I can change the call forwarding options and change my voicemail greetings. So once I click on this, it's going to open up a very similar call menu that we heard from the PC side. So once I do this, I'll put my phone on speaker so you can hear what happens.
Main menu. To listen to your voice messages, press 1.
As you can hear,
To change your personal greeting, press 2.
the menu options are the same.
To repeat this menu, press 0.
So I'm just going to end this.
To exit, press the star key.
I can press the star key to exit, or I can hit this big red button here to end the call. Alternatively, again, to pull up the dial menu,
To listen to your voice messages, press 1.
turn the audio off so I can talk to you guys here. But again, I can click the dial pad and then pull up any of the number pads I may need to complete functions. So once we set up our voicemail again, we're going to go make some phone calls from our mobile device to show how we can do the transfers. Very, very similar fashion. So I'm going to call Andrew here and speak with him for a moment. I'm going to use my speed dial access. So he doesn't look available, but we'll try him anyways. I'm going to put him on speaker here. Hello, Andrew. I'm just going to show some transfers from a mobile device here, so bear with me a moment. In order to make a transfer from the mobile device, we're going to click on the three dots here, and it'll give us the same options we had before. We can put the call on hold. Again, we can only retrieve that from the device that we put it on hold on. We can transfer the device, or we can transfer the call. We can park the call. So I'm going to transfer the call. And in this case, we have the two options that pop up again. Transfer now, meaning directly away from my device immediately, or consult first. So again, we're going to do a transfer now, where you can search for people in our own contact book. And I'm going to use my thumb for this. So we're going to look for Eric. There we go. There's Eric there. And again, it's now going to transfer directly to Eric inside my organization. Once it's done, it will automatically back me out, and we won't have to do anything else. And there you go. Call transferred successfully. The call ended, and of course it will back me out to the main screen here. Similar to the other calls we did, the consultative side, we're going to make another call to Andrew. Put him on speaker. I just did that by clicking the speaker button. Hello, Andrew. I'm going to do a consultative transfer now. And in order to do that, I'm going to click on the three dots. Go to transfer, and in this case I'm going to consult first. So I'm going to search for Eric, and there he is there. And this automatically populates inside your message here, which is really great. So it took all the information that we had and populated it. He's going to decide if he wants the call or not. I'm going to just remove the call menu screen here. And if he were available, but it says he's on a call, I could just hit up here and resume the call, or I can click this button and transfer it. In this case, I'm going to resume the call. Andrew is now back off hold, and I can inform him that Eric is unavailable to take the call, and I can then transfer the call or put it in park, or place the call on hold, hang up, take a message, etc. So there's many different options that you can use when you're on a call on any mobile device. Thank you, Andrew. Now the last thing I'm going to show you here is how to retrieve a parked call that may have been placed by you or somebody else in the organization. So in order to do that, you're going to go to your calls panel. You're going to click on this button here, and the dial pad's going to come up, but you'll also notice in the top right hand corner I have a P with a phone handset. That's where we're going to enter in the parking code. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to ask me for the park code. I don't have anybody in a parking spot now, but similar to earlier in our video, if I entered in the number 12, either by the keypad like this, 1, 2, and then hit OK, it will retrieve the call from that parking spot. It says we couldn't complete the call because, again, there isn't anybody in the parking spot at the moment, but that's how you would retrieve that call from any parking spot.
That's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you learned something. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video so others can find it as well. Thanks again, and if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call, 1-888-704-5055, to learn more about the products and services that we offer, or how we can integrate Office 365 with phone enabled for you and your team. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.